It's time to play some stuff.
Want to see my level 100 paladin?
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Play Some Stuff, World of Warcraft, Warlords of Draenor. Yeah, I can't remember which game it was from, or where there was that nerdy character that said, "Want to see my level 100 paladin?" But I remember it was in some Armeg21 video many, many years ago. There was somebody clicked on some kind of nerd character and stuff like that. But anyways, so here is Goodmane's Garrison, and of course Goodmane himself at level 100 with his, well, all his transmogs and stuff like that. So I finished leveling to level 100. I did actually manage to get the armor upgrades and stuff like that I wanted to. And without really doing much for raiding or even dungeon running, I've gotten myself up to item level 625. Unfortunately, I still haven't finished the quests in Nagrand, which means I still haven't finished the leveling experience, and I'm not really motivated to go any further in this game. Unfortunately, as much as I was ready to basically celebrate the return of Warcraftier elements to World of Warcraft, the attitudes of the Warcraft developers and community managers have basically wrecked this game for me. I mean, it's just one of the biggest problems that I've had with Blizzard's developers over the years is their finger-wagging, we-know-better-than-you attitude towards the players. And between that attitude, like Bashiok and Celes Talon, and the ongoing fight about flying versus no flying, I've basically decided I've had enough. So we're going to wrap things up with a little discussion about what exactly has gone wrong here, and why Warlords of Draenor, you know, is really just... there was a commenter the other day who saw my last video on this and said, "Oh, Warlords of Draenor are more like Warlords of Drano." They had some serious potential here, but I don't see it panning out so long as they continue not addressing their various people issues. Let's take a look, shall we? So, the garrisons, one of the centerpieces of Warlords of Draenor. And unfortunately, they have a little too much emphasis on them. Let's turn off the music, because I've heard it too many times playing this game. So the garrisons, hi Defender Alona. Where's your weapon? Where's your shield? Well, I did manage to get Defender Alona maxed out at level 100. Unfortunately, she has a bit of a problem. As you can see, she has no weapon or shield. So, and this is a glitch that has existed for quite some time. This is a glitch that has existed for quite some time and still has not been addressed in this game. And yes, when she goes to tank for you, she does so... Hey, a WoW sense is completed. When she goes to tank for you, she basically just slaps everything, which is an embarrassment that this bug has been unaddressed for this long. Whatever, she can tag along just like the other time. Well, she's not going to tag along in the non Draenor areas. Almost forgot the name of this place. Yeah, I haven't been playing this game very much, and to be quite honest, this video is really the only reason I still have a subscription. So I'm thinking of canceling after getting this recorded. So, here we are in the garrisons, the Blizzard's answer to player housing, and unfortunately given a little too much emphasis when it comes to how you play this game. So let's just go through and do what usually happens. So we got lots of stockpiled work orders here. One probably unintended consequences of this game has been that the garrisons have become like social gameplay, or like some kind of, it's like some you'd play on social media. One of the problems that Guild Wars 2 has run into since it's been around with its business model and no subscription fee, and you know, sometimes you just log in just to get the new content and stuff. Well, I just said it right there. Guild Wars 2 has a bit of a problem with people just logging in and getting access to new chapters in the story and then not playing the story. So you got people logging in like once a month. What do you do with that? They're not actually playing your game, and hey, let's watch. Oh, come on, Bluke. Hey, Peter Boss. Come on. I want you to... Come on, keep going. I want you to clip through that. Oh, yes. Bugs still exist in this game, sadly. Well, of course, I don't expect very fancy AI from WoW. It's more of a Skyrim thing. But... So, yeah, there's a bit of a Guild Wars 2-like problem with garrisons, where people are keeping their subscriptions around largely to do what I'm doing here. Harvest stuff, pick up work orders, and place new ones, and it's basically like Farmville. Now, I realize that the player farm in Mists of Pandaria was very similar to Farmville in the respect of you just log in, do your thing, and then, you know, do something else or log out. But this takes it to a whole new level, because you can easily spend about 15 to 20 minutes taking all the herbs out of your herb garden and all the ore out of your mine, especially if you max everything out at max level. So, that's the thing. Garrisons have become too much of a chore, really. Blizzard has tried to alleviate that through longer duration quests that you can send your followers on, but there's still a little element of annoyance where you go to try and do something in the outdoor world, and ding! Mission completed. Go back to your garrison, or something along those lines. Or ding! Work order completed. Or ding! Construction completed. And so, you're continuously just, I'd say doing busy, if there's such thing as busy work in this game, then what's going on in the garrisons is pretty much it. Let's see if I can get some...
I am listening.
Shut up.
The strongest spirit will always triumph.
Now, I think the reason why Defender Alona glitched is because she has this summoning ritual
We will persevere.
that you can use to summon, you can use to summon people. So, this isn't going to do anything because I'm not in a party. I just want to, stop all of that. But I guess, yes, this is the Summoning Stone. It's basically like a Warlock summoning portal, except the Paladin made it. So, I don't know, maybe it'll be a new skill at some point later on for Pallies, but... Okay, never mind. Let's not give Blizzard any ideas here. So, we'll see. If we get attacked by something, then you can... Actually, no, I'll go fight something later on. You can see Alona slap stuff around with Hammer of the Righteous. But, okay, I'm not going to bore you people to tears with me running around my garrison, but I hope you get the idea. The garrisons have become too much of busy work and then too much of a distraction when you're out in the world. So, yeah, things could be much better. Yeah. So you max out her reputation, and then suddenly her weapons disappear, and she does this to tank for you. Now, the Horde equivalent of Defender Alona is a tanking Warlock, so I don't know if this is some kind of nod to the other character being a tanking Warlock, but, yeah. That's right, slap those monsters! Whatever. Alright, now for something a little goofier that I like to do in this game. I don't know if anybody's gonna really get into it or not, but we just did some jumping around over here on this construction thingy in Ashran. Let's place a Blingtron, and let's see how many people try and jump up to it. Well, of course, this means that... this does mean there need to be people around. I picked the wrong time to do this prank. Let's just say... I've seen people actually try and jump their way up to that thing when I put it there. So, it looks like this person... Wait a minute. Nope. Let's see if this person does it. Yes, that is a Blingtron up there. Do you want to go for it? Do you feel lucky today? Of course, this is something that would have gotten more people interested a while ago when people couldn't just build an engineering building or something like that. Yeah. Alright, anyways, I picked the wrong time to do this, but I've seen people jump their way up to the Blingtron to try and get the Blingtron and stuff like that. So let's deal with the 800-pound gorilla that's causing all the fighting. Flying. If we go to this Flight Master here, we see all these direct paths to all these landing points, and this is by design. Blizzard wanted this game to have the most usable flight path system ever, which is a problem, because an incredibly good flight path system is no replacement for flying in Draenor. Why? Because if you've ever played any other game that has had a fast travel system like Skyrim or Guild Wars 2, flight paths are basically this kind of flight path system that Blizzard's trying to go for here is basically fast travel but worse. Sorry, Blizzard, you are officially doing something that's not as good as competing games. In the name of what? In the name of, oh, flying. Flying damages so many of the game mechanics. Yeah, well, the only thing getting damaged right now is the community, between all the people that are complaining about no flying and all the people that are like, don't you dare add flying back into the game. Flying sucks. And, you don't know how many of these people actually like Oh, that's why nobody's jumping up there. There's another Blingtron in plain... Yeah, never mind. So much for that idea. Yeah, people used to have more of a sense of adventure back in the day about 2 months ago. But, the community is really getting torn up about this. Now, maybe some of you folks may have went looking for all the flight, no flight threads that I was talking about last time. Well, unfortunately, not long after I made the last video, Blizzard went on a bit of a deleting spree and tried to keep all the arguing about flying and no flying confined in a single thread. So, bad timing on my part as usual, which is why I'm not much of a gambler. So, yeah. Ah! Alright, let's quit fooling around in Ashran here. Oh, okay, so Warlords of Draenor. It had great potential. It was a great idea. Tons of Warcraft, but unfortunately you got guys like Bashiok going around saying, well, I forgot I could fly in Outland earlier, so, I forgot when I was in Outland last time that I could fly. Gee, maybe I'm not getting too attached to that mechanic. And all the condescension and all the other stuff. It just gets old. Eventually you get sick of it. Well, let's talk about the flying thing before we call it a series with this Warlords of Draenor gaming video, whatever it is. Welcome to Stormwind, where our journey begins with our paladin looking very, very paladin-y. Gotta use this contemplation skill that you get from a glyph somewhere. Alright, so enough of this pious stuff. Yeah, okay, alright, let's get out of here. So the whole flying thing. Basically, the flying thing is, as far as I'm concerned, Blizzard's fault. And the fights that have gone on regarding flying are largely fanboy, immature, nonsense responses to Blizzard's poor game design. So, here we are in Stormwind, a major city, a faction capital, and one of the few areas in the game where you actually encounter airborne hazards if you're hostile. So if you're a horde, you might actually get might actually have some problems with these guards. So, which really points to, but if we fly outside the city, suddenly it's all empty space. There's no real hazards up in the air. And if you swoop down close to the ground, you don't really start getting any hazards until you're very, very close to the ground. And you might... Okay, kill the music. You don't really start running into hazards until you're very, very close to the ground. Okay, yeah, there. See, I floated right over her and she tried to stab me even though I was in the air over her head. Little cut purse. But she's got a melee weapon. Suppose you had somebody with a ranged weapon. Well, you might get shot at if you're this low, but you have to get really close to the ground in order for someone to shoot at you. One of the biggest problems with flying, and the reason why it, quote-unquote, breaks so many game mechanics, is because Blizzard didn't put very good Z-axis support in this game. So, even ranged monsters, you have to get really close in order to get hit by them, and many times your mount will be too fast. Matter of fact, Blizzard already had to nerf flying once, because when epic mounts like this one first came out, you could outfly most projectile attacks. There was a video going around on YouTube of someone outrunning an arcane missile in PvP. So they nerfed it so that you'd always take damage even if the projectile never hit you. And it's just crazy. And then, of course, in Wrath of the Lich King, the Nerubians had those attacks that basically, these little bugs came crawling after you, and you could get away from them very easily. So, yeah, overall, there's a lack of threats in the air, and the gameplay that they don't like, where people just sit down, try not to aggro anything, pick an herb or something, and then fly away, is largely due to just how the game was programmed. Like, let's take this spider, for example. Or better yet, let's go back to where there's humanoid enemies. First and foremost, the whole aggro radius is a dated mechanic. Let's go over to where were those cut purses again. Suppose you had a monster with vision and you were spotted. Why can't they chase after you and then give up when they can't see you? Yeah, like these wolves, for example. These wolves they can see me, but because I'm outside the aggro radius, they don't try to attack me. Now, suppose I was the right level. I would need to get within the aggro radius in order to aggro them, and that just shows how outdated this mechanic is. Really, you should be able to be spotted and then dealt with by smarter AI, but that sort of stuff doesn't exist in this game. Oh, look, it's another one of those cut purses. Hello, cut purse! Come attack me! I'm standing right here. Better yet, I'll get on my ground mount so I can't fly away. Hey, here's my big core hound that I got from the Molten Core 10-year anniversary thing. Come and get me! But nope, there is an aggro radius that gets smaller as you increase in level. And even the humanoids don't work based on their sight. and with an overall lack of air hazards and things that could go wrong when you're flying in the air, there's little reason for people not to try and exploit the flying system. So this is really an oversight in Blizzard's game design that is responsible for the problems that this game has with flying. But it hasn't always been this way. Let's take a trip over to Outland. Welcome back to the Illyrian Stronghold. This trip might give you folks some nostalgia for Burning Crusade. Look at that huge water wheel. Of course, we didn't find Illyria Windrunner here, but anyways. Once upon a time, this took a lot longer, because back in the early days of flying mounts, when flying mounts were largely used to access flying mount-only areas where the first daily quests were, the original non-epic flying mounts were actually slower than ground mounts. But you could fly up here to the Shatari Skyguard place and actually start doing daily quests. And as you were flying around, you would run into actual air hazards like the monstrous Kaleri, one of the most annoying mobs in this game of all time. Not so much nowadays, though. Let me go over and try an aggro one here. These suckers had a much larger aggro radius, and if you weren't careful, you'd have to set down and fight off one of these things. And if you didn't... Come on. Here I am actually trying to get attacked by one of these things. What, do I have to go get an at-level character? I do have an at-level character that I can go get. Whatever. Plan B. Yep, had to grab the alt. In this case, a level 71 Helidin alt that I used to play Battlegrounds with for PvP back in the days when Blood Elf Helidins were annoying. I don't even have Skedis on the map on this character yet, and only regular flying, so this may not end well, folks. Oh, that's nice. Level 72 just from coming out to Skedis for the first time. Hopefully now this character's not too over-level to not get attacked by these monstrous Kaleri. Although I have seen them at level 71 out here, so... Last time I was out here... Yep, still yellow. Last time I was out there, these things had been nerfed. But they used to be more of an air hazard than they are now. Let's try getting into a fight with one. There we go! Actually aggroing him. So, let's just sit here over this lake and get smacked by this thing. So, the Kaleri can go to any level. Kaleri will chase you around, and they'll hamstring you. But what won't happen is what used to happen whenever you would get beaten up by these things. And that was eventually, they would dismount you. Oh, wait a minute, it still happens. Well, I guess after a certain level that stops happening. Well, let's lose the birds by going underwater here. Okay, never mind. Denounce, you piece of crap bird! Goodbye! Unfortunately, of course, the item squish has made it so that 70-something paladins are actually... Oh, wait a minute. No, I think it's probably because this is technically previous expansion content for this character now. Okay, so it does still happen if you're in the level range. But what if you're level 80-something instead of level 70-something? Snowhoof to the rescue! Doesn't hardly have any gear, but I don't think that will really... Well, I sent my plate heirlooms to a warrior that I was leveling. Won't be the case when the heirlooms tab gets launched next patch, assuming I come back. But, yeah, okay, let's get over there. Much like that Helidin alt, Snowhoof got a free level out of this deal. I don't know what it is with these alts being so close to leveling when I log them out and put on a rest bonus or something like that. Alright, so what I observed last time I was here, when I was checking this out, was that these birds actually get nerfed very, very quickly in terms of being an air hazard. So let's see if I can get any of them to attack me at level 82. Probably not. Nope. Missed another one. Having the exact same problems as I had with Goodmane here. So there's the thing. There's a bit of an air hazard with mobs like this, but how often do you see mobs like the monstrous Kaleris? I mean, how often do you see air creatures that can actually cause problems like this? And they were actually, people used to say that these birds... Oh, there we go! People used to say, there's some slower ones. People used to say that these birds were some of the most annoying mobs in the game. Of course, since now 10 levels higher, the thing can't even hit me. But what I ran into last time I checked this out... Okay, hey, there's hamstring, but do I ever get dazed off the mount? Probably not. Let's get over some water, though, just in case. So there's the issue here with flying. There's not enough air hazards in the game, and the air hazards that exist in the game get nerfed eventually. Eventually they get nerfed to the point where they're no longer relevant. And this isn't just the case with what's going on here. There's another section in Burning Crusade that used to be a lot harder if you didn't have an epic flyer. Let's go there, shall we? Ogre-la, dailies. If you remember doing these on a 60% non-epic flying mount back in Burning Crusade, you'll know what's going on here. Here are Burning Legion flak cannons. These things used to knock you off your mount in one single hit. Yeah. Now they're just applying a dot. And a very wimpy one at that. Come on, shoot me down, you piece of crap. Hello? Flak cannons. Hello? Still at level. Let's turn around. Yes, if you got caught, yeah, see how the character got bounced there? If you got caught by these flak cannons, you got a direct hit, you would just plummet to the ground. See, this used to be an air hazard, and of course, it's interesting how in this big war-centered game, the only character, the only faction that actually invests in anti-aircraft is the Burning Legion in these outland zones. Right. Speaking of flight hazards, another flight hazard used to be that these dragons... Okay. These dragons used to be able to knock you off your mount too, with a single fireball. Instead, what they do is they just take away a chunk of your health. So, here's an area where some air hazards have been nerfed. And when you consider that this level 70-something character isn't getting shot down by the flak cannons, never mind what would happen if Goodmane came over here. So that's the thing. Yeah, they can't even hit, for crying out loud. So I remember back in the day, used to go up in the air, shoot, and then come back down to the ground and not get shot by these things, or stay close to the ground so it wasn't too much fall damage when you got knocked off your mount. Nowadays, though, nothing happens. Look, shoot me! Come on, flak cannons! Look, still target, not even moving. Oh, the dragon just bumped over a little. Yep, it used to be the case. If you took a direct hit from this green fire, you would get knocked off your mount, plummet to the ground, and take some fall damage if you didn't have a parachute. What happened to those parachute items, by the way, anyways? And of course, who could forget probably the greatest anti-aircraft slash war bongle whatever mess up irony of them all. World of Warcraft Wrath of the Lich King, airships flying around Icecrown Citadel, and huge airships, but unfortunately the Scourge doesn't seem to have much in the way of anti-aircraft stuff. Yeah. So, when all is said and done, this whole flying, no flying, and all the issues caused by flying is something that Blizzard shouldn't passively, aggressively blame the players for. It's their own game design that has created this situation where there's not enough hazards when you fly, and what little air hazards there are, they've either been nerfed out of any kind of relevance, or they nerf very quickly when you pass the level range. And in the meantime, we have a game that consists of clicky stuff like this when you're not raiding. Yay! You just log in. You just log in, you complete your missions, you start new missions, you complete your work orders, you start new work orders. You go to your herb garden, you go to your mine, you go to your salvage yard, you go maybe to your other places as well, and you have a daily quest that involves grinding in some level 100 part of the area that you can't use a flying mount to get to, so you may have to deal with some things along the way. This is what Warcraft has become in the year 2015, in this futuristic year. And when people bring up stuff like this, and the trolling and the other assorted nonsense that's going on with flying, there are condescending, we know best responses from the developers. Well, until the developers decide that they actually want to service their customers instead of constantly condescend on them or call them stupid without actually calling them stupid. There's plenty of other games that I could be playing. And there's plenty of other games that I will be playing. I think it's time already, without even getting out of the first patch, I think it's about time I took a break from this game. So I think I will. This will be it for the videos about Warlords of Draenor. There's some stuff in the pipe for 6.1, but flying's not one of them. And quite frankly, the way Blizzard made this expansion is... yeah. Here's the thing. I can understand there not being flying in 6.1 because the continent still isn't even finished yet. Tanan Jungle? Yeah. Tanan Jungle? Well, yep, still invisible walls going there. And if Farallon's going to be in the game, I'm not seeing it on the map. You know, that thing that becomes Netherstorm in Burning Crusade? Yeah. Anyways. I think I've about had enough World of Warcraft for a while. And it's really too bad. It's really too bad that Blizzard has to just watch the trolls just ruin the experience for people. Oh no, flying shouldn't be in this game. Ever, ever, ever! Yeah, except the problem is, the cat's out of the bag. What are you going to replace flying with? You can't replace it with the flight point system, because the flight point system is basically a fast travel system, but worse. With how competitive Blizzard likes to be with this game versus other MMOs and online RPGs, you'd think they could come up with something better, especially with 10 years experience under their belt. But instead, no. It's solicit feedback, which takes the form on the official forums of players egging themselves over flying versus no flying. Well, I said flying 6.1 or I am done. And the drama continues, so I will not continue being part of it. There's plenty of other games that I could be playing, so I think I'll get to playing some. Till next time, this is MultimediaJay, signing off. Thanks for stopping by. And game on! Even if it isn't World of Warcraft Warlords of Draenor.